cameras turned on during the lesson session. So please just get yourself ready and then turn on your cameras once you're comfortable. But please make sure the cameras are turned on. So I can see Mary, welcome. Igabe is here. Camera turned on. Great. A couple of people, Verite Morosi is here, and a couple more. So please just make sure that you're turned on. And then we're going to begin. So I'm going to share my screen. There's a lot of things that, let me share my screen first so that everyone can see it. By the way, this class is going to be recorded so you can have access to it to go back, to look at things that we talked about and, complete your task accordingly. So what's going to happen is that we'll first start the class session. But before we do that, let me just make sure if everyone can see my screen okay. Is it good, everyone? Can you see my screen good? You can use emojis just to let me know if you can see my screen. Okay. I would like everyone involved. Thank you very much. Okay, great. Right. Excellent. Thank you for telling me that. So as I was saying, this class obviously is 1 hour, so I'll do my very best to stop 10 minutes or 5 minutes before, just run through questions if you may have on the chat. Of course, like I mentioned, what usually happens is that once the lesson is completed, in the next 2 days, which means on Wednesday, late in the evening, you're going to receive the class recording publication notification. And you will also receive the quiz that you need to complete for this lesson. So there's going to be a quiz, like I said, but there's also going to be you having to actually work on your program, on your app, getting it to actually function up until where we stop. So that's what's going to happen. Okay. So we get started, and I'll give you the link for attendance. We must take attendance, and that you could do it towards the end. I think some people already started taking attendance, so that's great. I don't think even I need to share the link because I think the admin has shared it with everybody who is supposed to be here. So please, in case if you did not receive this, I will share with you the link, but it will only be accessible to people who are supposed to be here. And you can't respond twice because we had like duplication last time where there was twice responses. So we've kind of set this to one response only so we don't get confused with the number. Okay, so here's the link, and I think we can get started. I also want to give you the link to the notes that we're going to need. There is a notes here for Google Docs that I'm putting as just notes of things we'll take down, and also something that I also prepared as a sample, which is called prompts. And so there are different prompts to the different parts of what we're going to be doing today. Then, of course, I have my program, and I said I was going to explain to you guys how to set this up. It does take some time, so I felt that I would just show you how it works, and then on your own, you can set it up. It's not something hard to get your first program file. It's just a little bit tricky, but you can do it. And I don't want to say that I'll give you guys the link to this because I feel like you can do it yourself. And this is something that you should be able to do. So I don't want to make it easy. I want you to try to do it on your own. So I mean, setting up the file is the first thing. So I'll give you the notes link just so that you have a copy, but this is all going to be shared in Google Classroom. That's the reason why we created the Google Classroom. But in any case, let me just give you the notes for now. Okay, so for now, this is going to be where I'm going to sort of type in. So I'll come back and do that. And then I think we can get started. Okay, so this second link is for the Google Docs notes. It's pretty blank right now, but that's because I need to start putting things in there. Okay, so let's get to work. Before we start off on how to set your program, I have a sample of what we're going to do perhaps in like the first 2-3 lessons, like first 2.5 maybe. First 2.5 lessons or 3. It might be just between 1 to 3. And it is setting up the home screen. So I'll show you exactly how we intend this to be. So the first part is getting right down to business. And again, I'll explain to you some of these runs here on Replit, just so you're a bit familiar. Because sometimes when you run the whole server on Replit, it tends to just be very confusing on the console base. So as you can see right now, this is a sample prototype for just the first 3 lessons, what we're going to be working on, or maybe first 2.5. And then we move on to, of course, now setting up the resources. Here is a very basic looking, interesting home screen. In this home screen, I actually am going to zoom out a little bit. There is 2 things that are being applied that are very important. And the first one is obviously the user sign up, as you can see here, because you can see username and then you can see password, right? So let's go back. Give me one moment. My mouse is kind of disappearing a little. Give me a minute. I think my screen's a little bit stuck, but let me try it again. There it is. So you can see that there's the username and then there's password, there's confirm password. Okay, so what's being applied here on the screen is what we call a hashing algorithm. It's SHA-576. Let me just make sure that I got that 1256. Sorry, not the 576, 1256. And that is what we call the authentication guard. It's a part in cybersecurity. So from the first part of the lesson, you have cybersecurity going on here. And I'll just refresh this page one more time. Give me a moment. It's a little bit stuck. Let me see. Okay, let me try and see if I can close this and open it again. You're gonna have to give me a minute. All right. Oh, there it is. It closed. It was a little bit stuck, so sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened. I think the window is heavy on its run. But I'm opening it again one more time so I can get those things back into place. And what I was talking about was, I'll just go back here for now, the system architecture, which is the first part. So the first part of what we're doing, as what I was showing you, and I was going to run it so you can see, is doing the user interface, the authentication guard, the database layer, and the visual hash engine. Okay, so all those will be part of what we're working on. Can everyone still hear me okay? I feel like I zoomed out a little bit. Can you still hear me fine? All good? Yeah. Okay, so that's what we're going to work on. Now, let me see if this has loaded. I think it's successfully back on. So I'll bring back what I was saying. What happened to it? Oh, there it is. It usually doesn't happen, so I'm not sure about what's happening today. I'll go back to what I was talking about right now. Let's go to Replit again. And I think I'll just open one by one, just so that we have it. And let me also make sure that the class recording is still recording, just so that I think it's still recording, so that we don't have anything cutting off. Okay, so back to this sample that I wanted to show you guys about the first part of what we're going to be working on from lessons 1 to lessons 3. It's going to be the authentication for the user sign up / login, but it's going to use, like I mentioned, this algorithm called the SH256. And that's something from cybersecurity, but I think when you actually see it, you might understand it better before I explain it to you. So what I'll do is I'll just stop this run and then I'll run it again. And then I'll show you its demonstration on the app. And then I'll go back to those notes and then we can start working on setting up the first screen. Okay, so here on BNC, it's going to load this page for me right now. And by the way, when I click on this About Us page, like this About Us section, you see what it pops up for me? It says, sorry, you can't access this page until you log in, right? And when I click the X, it should disappear. There it is. Now, let's say I want to log in. So I'm going to, or sign up. Let's do the sign up first. So I'll put Morocco here, you know, usual username, which we all know. Password, I think everybody knows that the password will be masked. So I put Morocco as the password. I'll put Morocco cat in there, add some extra things. If I decide not to like fill in my second confirm password, look what happens. If I click on done, it's not going to let me because I have to put passwords that actually do match or not even leave it blank. So if I leave it blank or I don't put a password that matches, there is a validation that's happening here. Okay, so we're going to learn more about the validation techniques, but that's just one thing to take note of. So I'm going to put again my password. There is also the situation where you cannot duplicate password. Password has to be unique. That's because the password is going to be what we call the primary key in the database. Okay, so let's click on done. Now, do you guys notice when I clicked on done, there is this design pattern, which sort of resembles the one of the Imogongo design patterns that we have, like they're different type of ones, and it changes depending on the user. So this pattern is actually hashing the password, which you're going to see. So once I click on submit, for example, it will pop up a message said user has been registered successfully. Now, once I click OK up until this stage and I go back to my console, these are all the users in the database. And the very last one was this user. And this is what we call a hashed password. Now, a hash password using that cybersecurity feature that I told you guys about, the SHA-256, if you can remember its full name, is basically what we call immutable. It's one of the properties in Java programming, and immutability means that it is created and cannot be modified. It is not a two-way sort of encryption, decryption algorithm. It's a one-way kind of thing because it involves what we call a big O notation of computational processes, like millions of computational processes happening just to create this type of hash. What I just wrote there, which was Morocco cat, by the way, if you're wondering what I wrote in the password, it was Morocco cat in one word, no spacing. And it created this whole hash algorithm. This is the aspect of cybersecurity that you need to be familiar with. And that's what's happening in the backend database. So that's what you're going to learn. You're going to learn how you can hash passwords using that specific cybersecurity algorithm. And that's going to obviously be used for the sign up and login, but you can use that for any other concept in your app. So this is just to get the app started, right? So, and then let's get back. I want to show you one more thing just before we begin. Let's say now, sometimes, and this is a random thing that's going to happen, okay? So I'm going to clear the past runs. I'm going to go back and run this code again. I'm running it from the VNC GUI, by the way. This is where you see the output of your program. Okay, let's say I run it with someone else's name. So I'm going to say Clara, right? Let's say Clara something, Clara Tom. I'm just going to put this random name in here. Password, well, let's say what? Let's say Clara Tom, same thing. Username, let's put password same. Of course, not with the underscore. I did something different. If I try to put the same, like I try to use a password that already exists, duplication doesn't allow in this setup. Okay, so I'm going to put Clara Cat again, or Clara Cat. And I'll put done. And when I put done, if the passwords don't match, we're going to get this error message, like I said before, and then we have to like re-enter again. So I'll use the same one this time, Clara. And then let's go for Clara Tom. And then here, same thing. I want to show you the pattern design that will change. And so when I click on done, it's a little bit slow on my screen, but yeah, you see, do you notice the change in the pattern design? The first one was what color? It was white, right? So now the hashed algorithm has now changed. This is why it's called the Imogongo design, because it's not only this design you can do any Imogongo design you want. And I'm going to show you how you can do that very easily. You can change the pattern and do it. But the important thing is that it gives like a hash signature. So once I click on submit, what happens is, again, it goes back again to the database. What you see on the console is just showing you what is in the database. The database is the backend, and you can see that Clara is now registered there and her password is now hashed. So I'm going to move directly into the main thing now. Now, for the technical terms, I will share with you guys this notes, again, to give you a bit more insight into what this cybersecurity deep dive is called, this 256 hashing algorithm, if you're not aware about it, and how this whole hash immutability works out. I wouldn't suggest that you go in here yet, although you can start reading, because these are some of the codings that we're going to use for the generation of that pattern. But it breaks it down for you. I've kind of made the notes to be broken down. Okay, so let's get back into the main creation of this app. Let's start setting it up. I'm going to use a template that I have, but I'm going to show you how you can create and end up here into this template. So this template is already set up for me. All I have to do is start coding in here. For you, although, if you want to be able to create that file, you know what you do is when you sign up to Replit, which I think everybody has done by now. So I'm not going to go through that, whole process of signing up. When you sign up, you come here. This is very important in how you prompt the AI. So I'm going to zoom in, okay? And then you're going to get the prompt later on. First of all, you're going to say create a blank Java. You can say Java file for now, called main.java with the swing you can say swing and JDBC, okay? Database driver installed. And then put a period here. This is very important. Now, make sure the correct font configurations are also installed. And this program should contain, you know, what I'm doing right now is I'm chatting with the agent on Replit, by the way. So they have agent 4, and it's the agent that gets to create you the file, not the program, just the file. So this program should contain, I want to say like sample, you know, JFrame. If you haven't heard this word before, you'll see it. We need that. JFrame is from the Swing library. Sample JFrame code blocks to run as an example on VNC and console. This is really important. You're dealing with 2 of these things. VNC and console is what you're dealing with. Now, once you're done, just send it to the agent and then wait. It doesn't take too much time. I think about under 5 minutes, or it could be a little bit more. Maybe I'm a bit fast with it. It takes maybe about 5-10 minutes. I wouldn't say under 5 minutes, because it's supposed to create and install these libraries that you're asking it to do. But the most important thing is, and I just want to show you here before we start coding, is just make sure that you have gotten this program file set up properly and that it's actually running before you start coding, because you want to test and you want to see if your code is working, if the clicking is working, all that stuff is working. So right now it's setting itself up. I think what we'll do is leave this for now, right? Leave it setting up. Now, while it's setting up, I'll come back to it and show you what happens. Let's go back to the template. Now, for the template, the first thing you'll do when you have your file created, you will see it will have maybe a blank section, but we didn't say it should be blank. Remember, we said it should have some sort of code. Now, if you want to test this to see if it actually works, let's do a little test. This is like a blank, okay? I'm still leaving the other one to create the file. So I'm doing a JFrame object. And again, because we're using Java JFrame, like as in Java Swing library, the reason I'm doing this is because we have to put in the graphics, but we can use Java FX. That's another one. Now, you might notice there is an error on my JFrame. You know why? It's because we have to import the AWT library. So we import Javax, which is basically the package we need. So Javax swing dot, we could do asterisks if we want to import every single thing, and you see that the errors disappeared. The swing package is the one that allows us to put in the graphics, the pictures, and sort of make things happen. But if we want to make the screen clickable, like what you saw when I clicked on About Us and it said that I need to be logged in, then we have to import a couple more libraries. So we'll import the AWT, which is the Abstract Window Toolkit library, and then we'll import this one that's called the Event library. Event means things that are happening. Whether you click, whether you move your mouse in and out, if you want something to happen when you do those actions, then you need this event library. So these 3 libraries are very important to have set up in the beginning, although we need to also import the Java SQL library because that's where we kind of connect to the backend. You remember the database? So we also have to do that. And a couple of things that we'll do is like import java.sql. You can say, again, **, and that would mean you're importing everything from the library, you know, all at once. But I think it's not necessary because sometimes you take up space on the memory or on the server because you're importing all these libraries that you might eventually not use. So one of the libraries that we do need to use, let's start it from the beginning, is what we call the connection library from the SQL package. This is going to help connect your front end to your back end. So once they enter anything on the front end, it gets sent to the back end with SQL. So now moving on to, let's keep this for now. Let's keep the simple connections. Later on, I will put in comments to explain what this stuff is all doing. But I think if you're working with Replit, you should be lucky because it puts automatic comments. It explains to you what the lines do with these single line commentary that you see me putting in right now. Okay, so you can just put that in, read what it's doing, what I just told you, and you'd understand better what's happening. So as we're doing this, let's keep checking back on the AI agent. You see what the agent is doing. It said it's finished working. So let's see if it's done the actual thing. So if you get this message and it says done checkpoint, worked finito, then that means you have to check and see if it's actually working. Now you're going to see everything looking blank right here. You have to click the control panel and then go to file tree. And then look if you have any folder, because sometimes this main Java doesn't show. This is your Java file, and then you have the class, of course, and you've got like a bunch of codes in here. See that? This can also be very confusing because you didn't ask for all these codes, but you have all these codes. What are all of these? It's the process in which it's been installing all these libraries. But don't be afraid. Come back here, delete everything that you need to. What are you going to be deleting? Well, everything from imports. You don't need the import statements. Get rid of all that stuff. The only thing you need to see at the end of the day is the class, because Java is made up and consists of classes and objects. So delete everything. And you need the main method. That's it, because we're not going to be using any object-oriented programming concept, by the way, like encapsulation, inheritance, abstraction, polymorphism. We're not going to use this here. We're going to go for simplistic yet complicated coding. So all the classes that we need is going to be in here. So therefore, we need just our main method inside of the main class. So what I'm trying to tell you is just get rid. So you know what I mean? I don't know if you understand, but for some of you that are familiar, I know some of you are very familiar with the Java object-oriented programming concept. You know about encapsulation and keeping things. Yeah, so some of you are already putting the thumbs up. You know that. But what we're going to do in this lesson that I'm teaching you guys is how to do simplistic programming, even for somebody who has no idea what programming is, or for someone who does. This is simplistic because you create an entire app all in one file and you get everything to run there. You get to control it from there. And it's not going to be messy because things are going to go in some sort of like sub-processes where you can control, you can know what is doing what, you can make changes, you can fix. It's all easy just from one location. So that's the technique that I want to teach you for these 6 weeks that we're going to be together. So what you see me doing right now is I'm actually selecting it, but you have to be careful with Replit, because if you select the main method and happen to delete it by accident, you will have a problem, even though if you say, well, we can get it back. Yes, you can get it back, but there is a root folder. So what I'm trying to say, let's get back up again so I can show you what I mean. Where do you see the main method? You got to identify your main method here. So the main method is public string argument. Right now, this is not a main method. This is a method that is a private. Okay, I'm going to go into all of that in separate, explanations. I deleted that part. Now, for you to always know what to delete, where to delete, always click in your starting curly brace. Do you see what I'm doing right now? So let me zoom it in right now. Click the starting curly brace, and because you need to set yourself up, so this is setting yourself up. Click the starting curly brace and pay attention to where the curly brace ends. That's where you're going to go and select everything and delete gently. Okay, so you don't go rushy and then something happens. And all of this stuff you don't need. This is all comments. You don't need comments. This is all just explaining. And if you're wondering why all of this is showing when you said blank program, was because you kind of told it to actually give you some code. We said give us some code that we can test. So this is the reason why it's giving you code for database and all this stuff. So if you say blank blank, then it's going to go blank. You notice I'm deleting this part too, right? Because I know where the curly brace starts and where it ends. Get rid of that. What else do you have? The privates, you don't need these methods. This is not the main method. The main method looks like this. This is your main method, this one right here. Okay, this is what we call the main method. Public static void main string arguments. That's what actually runs the whole program. Without this method, it would not run, except you have some object-oriented programming sort of concepts applied here, encapsulation or all of that, in where you have like separate classes, and then you have it. But the most important thing is you always have to have it for you to run anything. So that's what I'm trying to get rid of. Okay, so you get rid of all the stuff, delete, all gone. You notice I'm deleting, going down because I'm not seeing the main method yet. Delete. You could just also tell the agent really just delete everything and keep the main the main method in the class. To be honest, that's an easy thing to do, which I'll show you as well. So you could do that if you're going to get confused. Okay, I found the main method. There it is. You see it? Public static void main. If you're going to get confused, just come here and ask the agent, delete everything and keep the class and the main method. That's all. And send it. It will do it for you. Get rid of everything. Now I'm deleting everything all the way up until here. And that's it. So I have a clean looking file set up. However, if this file doesn't run, then it means you haven't done the setup properly. So what is the meaning of it running? So let's get back. Now that you've seen how you set this up, how can you know if the file is running? So I was using the template as an example. If you create your JFrame, right? Let's do a simple frame. So we create a frame, and a frame is just like the screen where all your app is going to be, like your starting screen. So I'm going to set the size of my frame. Now, if you guys check online, what is the regular resolution size for a screen? There are different sizes depending on the screen. And when I say screen, I mean the computer or the device screen or whatever it is. Eventually, you're trying to make a program or an app that is versatile, can go on any screen, even if I turn my screen, you turn your phone, it rotates and all that stuff. That you can do later on. For now, you're starting from scratch. Okay, so let's say I create my frame and then I do like a frame. Okay, let's do a set layout. I don't want to have a layout. I will control what I put on this because that's definitely what you should do. We're not doing a grid layout. We're not doing a flow layout, which I'll explain. We're going to do nothing. We will determine where things are going to go on the screen. And then finally, what should I do? Well, very simply, I can just go frame.set visible. Now, notice that I'm doing this on the main method. Ideally, this is not a good idea. Okay, this is not what we're going to do. You're not supposed to put everything inside of your main method. You're supposed to organize your things in your methods. And we're going to talk about that. Methods that have return type, methods that don't have return type, methods with return types and signatures, and all of that, so that it's easy for you to know if you have a problem or if you want to call anything, you know where to call and what you need to do. This is just a test, so it's easier for us. Okay, that's it. That's all you have to do. This is a very simple test. You can even make this smaller, to be honest. Let's make the screen size smaller for now, and then I'll show you the difference. Let's go like a square size kind of screen. Now, what you'll do, I'll zoom out a little bit and go open the plus sign. That's what you should do. Okay, plus sign, go look for the VNC, find that first. Then go open your plus sign again. You should look for the plus signs near the main, by the way, because that's where you run your code or run your app. Open your console. Now you see the console, how it is, right? All this stuff is servers. All these things are libraries and servers and connections and gates. You really don't need to see all of this for now. Local hosts, all that stuff, unless if you're into this type of stuff. To avoid confusion, just click those square box. Sorry, I didn't show you that. Those red squares in the corner, just click them, stop everything, clear your past runs. If you see any squares still showing there, just click it. Don't see anything, make sure it turns to a check mark. Clear the past runs, then come here. And here is where you should control, okay? Pay attention. Here is where you run your VNC, okay? And right now, I don't know if you noticed, this is a template. This has already been set up. It's not this one that we're gonna copy and paste and you'll see the difference. So this one's already set up, it's already been run, it's already been tested, and it's already been seen. You see? It shows me the output, right? This is the square, this is the frame. 500 by 500 in resolution size, that's pixels. If I increase the size, right, as you do, whatever you do here, it shows you on the output. So if I go this, and this is the regular size for like a normal size screen, then I come here and do the same. You notice that I'm not clicking this green one because I don't want to do this. Look, if I do this, the entire thing runs again. The whole, servers, everything again. And sometimes you get confused because there's something you're looking for in the console that you can't see. So that's why I don't do this. I always just stop all these server runs, clear my past runs, and that's what you should do to avoid confusion. Go to the workflow and run exactly what I need. Either you're running your VNC, which automatically runs your console, by the way. So I'm doing this run again, and let's see the difference. You see the screen size, how it increased now? It's bigger, isn't it? Let's zoom out. So it affects, when you see this happening, it means that your setup is good. It means you're now ready to start coding. This is a good sign, okay? Now, let's take the code. This is already set up, remember. Let's take the same thing and let's copy it. Let's put it in this new one that we didn't even set up right. So let's see if the AI has already set this up properly. So what do? We just go automatically import libraries, right? We can copy paste those libraries, by the way. Let me see if, yeah. I wanted to see if the AI just would recognize what we need here. By the way, semicolons, semicolons. I think we all know that Java needs to end with semicolons. That's it, right? That's all we had. That's all we have here. Same we're having here. So let's see now. I didn't put the connection, by the way, because this is just a test. This is not, I don't intend to use this for my database. So I'm going to go back. Remember what we do. Go search for the VNC. Then go search for the console. Remember those two steps when you want to see if you're set up properly or not. Search by clicking the plus sign, searching for it, searching and clicking on it. Now, I already see that I'm not set up from what I've seen. I don't think I'm set up because look, it doesn't show me anything, even though the servers are running. So that tells you that you're not set up. That tells you that you need to definitely communicate with the AI to make sure that the libraries are installed. But if you want to try, and again, look at another sign. You don't see any run VNC or run console. All you see is run some sort of servers, which is the Graal VM, the API server, and all the stuff which basically doesn't run your VNC. So this means it's not working. Now click on the control panel and come back here, and you notice the difference. Now pay attention to this side. I'm going to show you two things comparison. Look at the one that is set up. This is the one set up. Okay. Pay attention to the setup part. I'm going to expand it. Look at all the files. Do you notice that there's a difference between the non-setup one, where there's only main, and the setup one, where you can see something called config, font config configuration properties. This is very important. This is really what doesn't allow your program to run. These two things are important. So what I'll do is let's try some experiment together. I'll download these files, which I've not tried before because I've used the AI most of the time. So I'll download them, and let's see if we upload them here. Would that just make it easy and just make it work without us telling anything, the AI to do anything? So I've downloaded these two files. I have the font config. I think I missed one. Let me see which one I didn't download. I downloaded font config, but I didn't download font configuration properties. So let's download that one. Okay, so I've got two of them here. Oh, it's actually the same file. So let's erase one, then get back to the other. Let's see if I need, don't get confused. I'm just going back between the template and the actual one that works. This is the one I want to try and download now. So I did the first one, and it's the same font config. So let's see if the files are matching. They're different. So they're two different files. Now look what happens. Let's go back to the one that is actually not set up. Okay, pay attention to the names. The non-setup one is called the swing JFrame, and the setup one that I just showed you that is working without any problem is called a template, because I already did that yesterday. So now let's come back here and then drag and drop these two files. Let's see, because this is where the problem lies. It doesn't have the right font configurations for whatever reason when you create a file. So you just drag and drop it in here. Now you see that I have font configurations in there, right? Well, let's see if it works. If it doesn't work, then you're going to have to tell the agent to do that. So the thing is, to actually try it if it works, is the only way you can run right now is clicking that play button. And this is like where the whole server runs again. Come back here, still is not showing anything. So this didn't really do much, but let's keep it there. What you'll do before we go into the code, I'll just show you and then I'll move on. You'll say, make sure, or you say, I cannot, just speak to it like you would speak to someone. I cannot see my program file or my program displayed on VNC. So fix this by installing what is missing. You can say libraries if you want to use that term, and make sure, you have to say this, make sure that my program gets displayed on VNC. And you can add something like do this fast, okay? Because what usually happens on Replit, which I'm not sure, by the way, Replit is the number one platform in North America that is being used as a compiler by companies and people in tech and students and all kinds of people. So it's easy to use it. As you may have seen, when you set it up, it looks a little bit hard. Like, why all these complications? That's because you're connecting with an external server in a completely different continent, right? But once you set it up, everything just becomes easy, because it's now just, you test like what I showed you. You just type, it shows you the output. You can modify your app with AI once you're done with the structure. You want to add some things, add APIs, and you can publish, you can sell immediately. So that's why it's good. But you have to be careful with the AI. Now, as a free member, you get free AI credits, okay, every day. I think you have a limit in the month, I'm not sure. So what this means is that when you send these type of prompts, just make sure to say, do it fast, okay? It's really important, say, do this fast. And if you want to know what's happening, click on it. It will show you what it's doing. You see what it's doing? It didn't have the VNC. Do you see what it's telling you? It says it's installing the VNC now. So it didn't have anything for you to see. So we're gonna leave that and let's go into our program. We'll come back to it later on. Now, we have this set up for now, right? Obviously, this is not what we're going to be. We do need the frame, so we're going to keep that. We do actually need the layout. Actually, we do need some of these things. So let's keep it out. We're not going to delete anything for now, but we're not going to keep them here, okay? We're not going to save this in here. Now, let me just take this to the side so that it doesn't block what I'm going to do. And I'm zooming out, and I'll move this thing so that you guys can see. Now, this part, I'm going to cut it out, and we're going to create a method. This method is a non-return type. I will make the method static. I could not have put public in the beginning, by the way. I could have just said static. But if you put public, it doesn't matter. Public means it can be accessed anywhere in the package, right? It's not private or it's not protected. So I'm going to create a method. Let's call this method display, or you can just call it start app. Like really, whatever you want to call your method is fine. So public static start app, okay? Oh, let's say void. I made a slight omission. Void means that your method is not returning anything. So we're not returning anything. And I think you guys know what return type methods are, that you have to return something, you have to print something or do something. We're going to make this method very simple, non-return type. Now, this thing that we have here, let's take it out of here. This block of code, we are going to need it. It's our starting block. We're going to paste it inside of the method. This way, we keep everything organized. We'll comment this one as the method that will be responsible for doing what? For displaying the home screen. And you guys are going to play around with this a lot. So displaying the home screen, and you'll see why. And also managing the whole, okay, let's not say managing authentication. Let's just say displaying the home screen, okay, of the app for now. We'll talk about authentication, database, and all that stuff. Now, this still works if you want to be able to make your program run. The only difference is now things are going to be in your method. Where you're going to display the home screen is going to be in your method. Where you're going to make the screen clickable is going to be in another method. Where you're going to be putting the database connection with the sign up and the backend is going to be in another method. So if you have any problem, you know where to go and where to find what you need to. So what I'm going to do to get this to work, all I will do is call this by its name. I do not need to create an object of this method. By the way, I think you know or may not know that Java involves classes. So the class that we're using right now is main. If you have a Java IDE downloaded on your computer, like Eclipse or all the other ones, I can't think of them. They're very VBNet, whatever, Visual Studio Lab, all that stuff. If you have it downloaded on your computer, then you can be able to change the name of your class to whatever you want to call it. But when you're dealing with Replit, when you're coding on Replit, because it's very versatile with a cloud server, all of the files that you're creating in your own Java program or whatnot needs to have the name main. It's just the way they made it to run. So you can't change this. If you go ahead changing this, you're going to have some problems unless you know how to connect the roots. But in general, that's just what I'm trying to say. So because this method is a static, it's not like, I didn't say public void, I said static. So therefore, I can call it with its name, and I don't need to call it by creating an object. That's what I'm trying to say. We'll talk about objects later on. Let's get back to the console again. Let's see if this is still working. I just changed the way the things are going to be called. I didn't put it in the main method anymore. I've put it inside of a method. And you see that it's still working, isn't it? So even if I come back here and I change things around, I don't know, change the whole way it looks, I don't know, do something real slow or small, sorry, so you can see. Now, if I still make a difference, it still shows you that it still works. I just move things around to make things look organized. So if I come back to VNC, you see it's still working. Changes are still happening. So go back here. Now we're all good to go. We have our first method set up, and we've called it, and basically meaning it's working. It's inside of your main method. Let's go to Gemini, shall we? So Gemini is where we're going to be creating our home screen. Now, this is where you guys have to be a little bit technical in the way you're going to create your prompt. I'll also go to Google Studio or Google Flow to be specific, because this is where I'm going to be making my home screen animated. So I told you, you're going to see a very easy technique to make complicated things seem very easy to do. Very, very basic, but they're actually complicated if you look at the back-end process. Now, I have two things open, two AI generative tools. What am I trying to do here? I'm trying to get something like this. Let me see if I can show you. Well, these are Imogongo designs. Let's say, everybody has their own design style. Something like this, maybe a little bit more professional. something like this, maybe something a bit more realistic. So whatever, you're trying to get the home screen set up. Now, according to how the home screen should look like, you have to have it in your head. First of all, what is this app supposed to do? It's supposed to provide startup founders, companies with ideas on how to be able to start up businesses with natural resources from from Rwanda. I was about to say Uganda, Rwanda. But it can be modeled to any country, right? It can be Rwanda, can be Cameroon, can be anywhere. But then you're supposed to provide these startup founders with ideas, and you're supposed to be like the matchmaker. You matchmake with, Mary, go ahead. You raise your hand.
Okay, sorry. What you just said, can we tailor it to our countries?
Yes. For those of you that are not in Rwanda, that's a good question. You can tailor it to your country, but for those of you that are in Rwanda, you need to make it Rwandan. So if you are still okay with making it, that's a good question, Mary, actually. If you're still okay with making it, even though you're not in Rwanda, but you want to make it for Rwanda, then, go ahead. We're intending to showcase these apps at the final event when you graduate and stuff. So that's a good question. You can tailor it to your country. Okay, it's fine. That's even good. We get versatility. But the main idea is Rwanda. So for those who are in Rwanda, definitely need to tailor it to Rwanda. Okay, so let's get started on how this would look like. So I was telling you, so the idea is you need a main sort of like a banner, like how's your home screen gonna look like? Do you wanna go with a vertical? Because you can do vertical if you want, but I would suggest that we all stick to a horizontal aspect ratio. And then we have like a main banner. We've got like the main things that are going to be in this home screen that will connect to other things. And I showed you before, right? We have the part where we will get maybe about us. We don't want to say home because we're already on the home. So we need about us. We probably need natural resources. We need water products. We're going to do water products. So you have to have water products in there. Water products, meaning 90% and above of the natural resource and water is being used to create something. Then we've got like stats, statistics that will show which one is more popular and all that stuff. So what I'll do is I'll start by doing this. Create, use the keywords. Beautiful, you could do viral, you could do high quality, whatever you want to say there. And then I'll say background picture. This is going to be a big prompt, so just follow me on this. Background picture for a home screen meant for an app. You could say a versatile, unique, give those words, app called, maybe not called because we don't want to say particularly has any name. So unique app, just put a comma and then just put titled because you want the title. It really depends on what design you're going for in your head. So titled, and I'll go Rwandan Code Hills. You could change the title, by the way, but you should stick to the main idea. You can even say code 1,001 opportunities for startup founders, something that will captivate someone. For now, let's say we call it Code Hills. So it's meant for this app. You have to tell the AI what this app is about. So it has an idea of what to do. So first you would say, okay, this app is intended to provide Rwandan-based startup founders, okay, with unique ideas. You can repeat the word, it's okay, okay? Leave the correction till when you finish. Unique ideas on how to start up for businesses from small scale to large, right? From small scale to large. Make sure this makes sense to you. So if you're a person that likes to go period, and read what you're doing and retype, the AI does guide you on how you should be writing this in the way it understands where you need to put hyphen and all that stuff. Now, period. You've said what the app is about, right? What are you going to do next? How do you want this to look like? If you allow the AI, it's going to do something completely random. So you have to give it what you want it to be. Now, at the top, okay, of this background picture, make sure you refer to what you've talked about before. Include Rwandan. I'm going to go for classic. I like the word classic. Let's see. Classic, vintage, you can say realistic, real life. You could go, if you don't want it to look that childish, awkward look, however you think is unique. And you can correct all this stuff when you're typing. Go. Real life. theme, design themed. Oh, did I put real life Rwandan? I'm gonna put that because that's the concept, right? Design themed, design theme. At the top of this, background picture. Wait, I need to rephrase this. At the top of this background picture should include, or let's say the top, rather than at the top. So you got to rephrase. The top should include, let's do it here, should include a classic, a classic real life Rwandan design theme to attract the user immediately. You can use those words and then put a period. Okay, you've done the top. Now go what comes after that. You're looking at sort of like a web app sort of app, right? Web app. Or if you have something else in mind, I don't know. The idea is that you just have to put the main things. So you're going to go underneath the banner picture, okay? Include a menu tray. So you need to be a little bit technical because some of these words are from computer science, sort of technology things like menu tray, like what else? I can't think of anything right now, but I'll tell you as we go on. So underneath the banner picture, include a menu tray that would contain these menu options. What are the menu options you're going to have? About us. You can say would contain these menu options displayed in a creative manner. Okay, so, you know, you got to be very specific. About us, what else do you want to have? We all have to have sort of a similar thing. So natural resources, remember when I showed you that example last time? When they click natural resources, they're going to see all the natural resources. We're probably going to pick like maybe 8. 4 at the top, 4 at the bottom, or however you want to arrange them. And those natural resources, they will be like a little description about each of them. And once they click learn more, it will open a page specific to that natural resource and what you can actually start a business on based on them. And then there's going to be that video. Remember I told you about that? There will be a video frame. Once they click that, it will open the video that relates to each of those businesses. So the startup founder can see what kind of business they can create. Like, you know, they get excited. Oh, I can do this. This is actually how it's going to be like. And of course, there's going to be a PDF document that you're going to generate, store in the database. And that's going to be the business plan, depending on what they choose, that they can download. So I'm going to go water products. What else do we need? We need natural resources, water products. If you're wondering, what about sign up and login? Well, sign up and login is going to be on the main home screen. And if they ever want to come back to it, then we have to redirect them from whatever page they're on. This is the home screen page we're talking about. So water products will be here. I think you guys should do contact us. Definitely, you know, if someone has a question, stats. But if you put these type of word product stats, I think you should be very specific what you're saying so the person understands stats like this. And then you can do contact us. Maybe change the name. Contact us seems a little bit generic. Give it something else. Now, these are the things that I want to have on my like menu tray, right? So that would contain these options. And then period. What goes after? Now, picture, banner, menu tray. Okay, you definitely need a place for your sign up. And what I'm thinking is I want to have a flow sort of sign up. It depends on what you want to have. Do you want it such that it goes username, password, confirm password, like vertically, or do you want it to move in a flow direction? So that really depends. So I'm going to go back and say underneath the menu tray, I'm going to be like, look what I'm going to say. So I'm going to say include a huge space. Okay, I'm going to say huge long, or maybe I shouldn't say huge long. Let's just go huge space. Maybe not long, huge space that will be empty. Be very specific here. Okay, if not, the AI is going to put for you something that will be empty. And this space should be large enough, okay, to fit a sign up / login. Oops, sorry about that. Login. You can say menu tray or you can say box, window box or something. The way you would describe this for it to understand. So window box, okay? I think this is it. That's all. Really, you've said what you want. You said you want that. Unless if you're going for something, oh, I want to show the videos like there, and then they would see the videos. They would get excited, see what kind of like creative ideas they could do. You could do that. You could put like maybe 4 video trays. I mean, you should get creative here. 4 like vertical picture cards, maybe that, or like video frames that once they click on it, it goes to your YouTube channel, which is where you're going to have your videos, right? So you're actually getting views there. So people are going to have to go and see like, oh, look at this business. Okay, look at that. Okay, let me check the, you need to capture people immediately to your app. So I'm saying you can put it there, and then maybe underneath that you put the sign up or by the side or something. I'm just going to go for this for now. Now that's it for me. The last part I'm going to put is the footer, and that's all. So underneath this one, you notice that I'm going like level to level. Underneath the empty huge space, make sure you repeat yourself there. Huge space meant for the sign up slash, and this is this is why I told you it's going to be a long prompt. Sign up slash login, window. Include a footer. You could say a footer tray. And I think I would maybe go for, Rwandan theme, something like that, or Nigerian theme or Cameroonian theme, whatever. Include a footer tray that contains the following options. So think about, what do you want to have in your footer? What do you want to have? For me personally, I would like to have a place that would say articles, product articles, so that like a magazine, so the person can go and see what the product is about a bit more in detail. So I think I would have product articles. I don't know what you want to have there. Some of you might want to have social media, if you have like a Facebook and all that stuff. Product articles. What else do I want to have? Maybe I want to have a logout. It could be, once they click, it logs them out, and that's it. I don't know. For now, I'll just leave it like that, and that's it. Now, the last part you're going to do before we send this to Gemini, and you'll see what happens. Make sure, this is important, you have to include this. The resolution size of this picture is 1280 by 720 pixels. Okay, this is really important, okay? Because you want to get a size that you can control in the beginning. It's okay if you want to make it for all screens later on. That's easy to do. When you have the structure, you can then modify with AI. That's why it's called software AI engineering, both at the same time. That's all, guys. Really, that's the end. And if you guys looked at, do you remember I told you there was the prompt document? Do you remember that? I don't know if I gave you that link, but I'm going to go there real quick because I want to show you. Give me one moment. Prompts document here. Initially, I gave you guys the notes. By the way, I'm still going to put stuff in the notes. This is like a prompt that I used yesterday. This is the same sort of prompt in a different way. So I just want to show you. And that's what I'm having here. Now, once you're done, be very careful. Select Flash on Gemini. If you have Gmail, you can access Gemini without any problem. Make sure it's not age restricted or anything like that, just a normal Gmail. Go for extended thinking because you want it to think more, and it shouldn't put rubbish text for you in there. You look unprofessional with any sort of rubbish text anytime. So once you've done that, send it over. There is a website that I recently came across today, and it is a website someone created to make logos come to life. So I think I might share with you that website because it's good if you have your own logo, right? You create your own logo design and you make it animated and you put it in here. It's just perfect because it really makes things look good. However, you can do your logo here too. I'm just saying that that's not a resource. Let's see what Gemini does. Okay. Yeah. It looks nice. I mean, the concept of hills is here. I like the, this is what Gemini has generated. Yeah, you see it, right, guys? You see what I just saved you from doing this entire thing with JavaScript and, HTML. It's going to take you ages. That's why you have to use AI where necessary. Very easy, very nice. Now, if you're not into this and you be like, this looks a little bit childish for me, maybe something different, that's okay. You know what you do? Copy what you have, go to Google Flow. That's why we have Google Flow in the first place. Go to your Google Flow, just make sure it's working. And Google Flow is awesome. It's the best generative AI tool. Trust me, because I've done research. Although Claude is good when it comes to Claude coding. If you guys are interested in Claude coding, that's another thing. Claude coding is excellent, very, very good. That one's for coding. I'm talking of image generation. Now, copy and paste your prompt here, okay, on Google Flow. Now, when you come here in selection, make sure you don't click agent, because if you do, you know what's happening? The agent's going to take control now and do some sort of prompting on its own. So click the agent again. Make sure you see the option for video. Switch over to image. Make sure you are on an aspect ratio of 16:9. You can do as many variations as you want, to be honest. I can just keep 4 for now. It doesn't even charge you credits, so it's good. You have 50 credits every day, by the way, in Google Flow that you can use AI for to generate videos and whatnot. And these are high quality videos, because if you look at video, Gemini has given you, Google has given you Omni Flash, okay? So this is free, accessible to everybody. Right now, I'm going to go and send this. Now look what happens. We're generating 4 images at the same time. Let's see what we get. If you're a person that likes to see different options before you make a decision, then this is your best pick. Come here, do it 4 times. You can still do it on Gemini, open another Gemini. That's what I'll advise you. Copy the prompt, paste it there. See what you get until you're satisfied and you're like, yes, this is what I want to go with. I like everything about it. If you want specific colors or tones, you got to send the commands. Okay, look at what it's giving me here. Let's look at the options. I've got one first one. You know, again, you can rephrase your prompt. I definitely don't like this one, personally, for me. I've got another one. Not bad. It looks a little bit childish, right? And then I've got one. Oh, this one's good. I like the concept. Why I'm saying it is because I like the whole, I don't know if that's a roll panel or roll pin. Looks like one. I just like the concept. I feel like we can find this in Africa, like the type of wood and stuff. And I like the Imogongo concept. I think for me personally, I would go with this one. But again, you can check more options. I got another one, which definitely not going to go with this one. You see that? Yeah, for me, no. So I have 2 options. I like the one that Gemini did, to be honest. I like this. I think it's nice. And then I like this one too. So if you're indecisive, well, just decide at the end. If you want a picture, download your photo. Just download whatever one you want. And I'm downloading 2 of them at the same time. So download. It's easy to download. Just click and download. Now let's quickly go back into the program. I've downloaded my pictures, by the way, so don't get confused again. The pictures are here. I downloaded 2 of them. You see, this and this. I want 2, and I want to see how they look like. So when you have your pictures downloaded, go back to your Gemini, to your Replit, sorry. This is our Replit, right? We sort of have this sorted out, and we have this one. Now, important, focus on this side. Open your control panel, very important. Open the control panel, and then I wouldn't suggest that you say, how am I going to bring my picture here? Your picture has to be in your root folder. Okay, pay attention. It needs to be in the root folder, which means the place where you have your main.java, so that it actually works when you put it in. So there is no option here to upload a file, only folder. What I usually do to make things easy for me is just come here to my, my computer and just drag and drop, really. That's the easiest thing. So look at what I'll do. Drag and drop both pictures at the same time. Make sure you're doing this on your main. Okay, if you're confused, just do it on the main. Drag and drop them on the main. Now, my folder, look what happens. This is my folder. However, if you look at your frame, like the one that we created before with Gemini, do you remember? With Replit. I keep saying Gemini, Replit. I don't have a folder in this one, the one that we were trying to set up. There's no folder here. So in this case, you just have to drag it and drop it where it is. Like, just find the main and drop it there. So when you put it in your code, it can actually know where you're getting the pictures from. See them? This is the one I uploaded. This is the other one. So I can switch between the 2. Now, we are going to make these pictures animated, but I just want to show you the first step first. By the way, the agent said it's finished, and it said it's worked for 8 minutes. So let's see. It worked for 8 minutes. If you still don't see it running again, you just have to come back to your console. I'm just showing you this for now. I'm going back to the part of uploading pictures, but I want to show you the agent that we were getting it to work to try and see if it can display the output on VNC. Right now, I still don't see the VNC loading. Just refresh the page again one more time. Make sure you don't see it. If you still don't see it, tell it, I still don't see my VNC. It means there's another library that's missing. And I don't want to go into libraries right now. I will show you like what it's saying. You just have to follow what it's telling you. It's always explaining what it's doing. And as long as you don't see this VNC showing, you have to keep prompting it and saying, I don't see my output. You have to see that frame output because that's the code you have here, right, in the main. Remember the code we put in. So if you're having problems setting up your Replit, just let me know and I can give you a sample file, but really don't depend on me. Try to do it yourself. Just say, I still, just send it again. I still do not see my program. And if you want to be specific, say my JFrame, that displayed. It's just something you have to do once and that's it, displayed on the VNC. And that's all. You keep prompting it. I'm sure some of you you know, like Mary, she's been with us in one of our previous programs. She's a talented teacher. She's never coded. She's a teacher in physics, and she's never coded before, and she was able to set this up on her own with trials and errors. I hope I'm not mistaken, Mary, because that's what I remember. Yeah, so it wasn't easy for her, but she was prompting and prompting until she got it. So that's why I'm telling you that you have to keep prompting. So I don't want to waste time on it. I'm going to go back, okay, to what I was saying on the picture. So you saw that I'm prompting it. It's still working. It's thinking. You just have to keep looking and seeing if it displays at the end, which it will. Now, going back here, when you upload your pictures, now remember that this is the file that works. I know it's a little bit confusing because I go back between two files, but this is the actual one that works. And inside this folder, I have my picture that I uploaded, one of them and the other one. Now, I'm going to rename. Don't keep this long name. And also be careful. This picture is JPEG, so it's a no-no. Well, it's a yes with Java. I was thinking Python. With Python, it's a no. With Java, it's yes. No, because you have to change it to something else. I'm going to call this one home.jpg. This is one of my pictures. It's still going to show. I just renamed it. Click the three dots, give it a shorter name, rename, and call it something else, like home2. Hit the enter key so that the name changes. That's how it changes. Hit enter key. Now, I've got two pictures, this one and this one. If you want to put this in, all you have to do is here. Pretty simple things. Now, first of all, you will come down here and you'll create a JPanel. And I think I have to stop at some point, so I will stop because, you know, we have to end the class. But I'm saying, and I'll explain to you what a JPanel is, just very quickly before we continue. Now, remember when I created an object of the JFrame, right? And that was like the frame itself. And then we set the size. And by the way, this is not the size we're going to go with. We have to stick with the size of the picture. And if you want to know the resolution size of your image, take your cursor over your image. Do you see what it's showing me here? The resolution size is 1376 by 768. Okay, that's good. But let's not go too overhyped for now with this size, because why I'm saying it is when we animate this picture, sometimes the dimension reduces. It becomes 1,200 and something by something. So, and when we go to kind of convert the animation from a video to a GIF, because we want to put it as an animated picture, like what you saw with mine, it makes a very nice animation for the home screen. Then when you download it, it doesn't download this exact same size. So for now, I'll just put it though, for the picture side, but we haven't animated this picture yet. So let's put it, you just take your mouse, put the size you have, and that's the resolution. That's one thing. Now, the layout, what I was telling you guys before, that my layout is null, meaning that you're telling the compiler that you are going to be the one to arrange things. You're going to be the one to decide where you're going to put a button, where you're going to put a checkbox. You are in control. So you're not basically restricting to a certain type of layout. Now, what is the JPanel? The JPanel is what's going to go on the frame. So the frame is one thing, the panel is another thing. Usually you can put things on the frame directly, but it's not technical. You have to put something on the frame to make it easier if you want to remove. Just like you have like, you know, when they tell you put a sticker, you know, you put a sticker and you write on the sticker, right? Like those rewritable things. And whenever you want to like erase the rewritables that are erasable, you can erase and write again. Same thing with the JPanel. Now with the JPanel, you've got to set the size again. There's two options. Either you set it with set bounds, which I don't like to do. I like to go with a simplistic setting size thing again. Set size is what I like to do. I put the size again. Oh, not that size. And basically this same size. Yeah, this one, and then put a semicolon. What's the difference between set size and set bounds? Okay, set bounds means that you are going to decide where you want to put this panel on the frame. Do you want to shift it more to like the center, and it will be on the frame like in the specific area in your center, because you're the one controlling how things would look? Do you want it to make it like occupy the whole frame? So in my case, you notice that I'm putting set size. I'm not using set bounds because I don't want to put it anywhere. I just want it to be like a plaster on the frame. So I'm using the same size as the frame. Okay, so this is really important as well. And then the other thing you need to do is, we don't need a background color because we have a picture. So what we'll do is we'll just put a layout, and the layout will be null. Okay, the same thing again, because you're going to control putting your background image. So this will be null. And then now you're going to come in to start putting your photo. So how do we put in the photo? We have to create like an image path. Okay, so what we'll do is call something called an image path. or, just a variable. And I'm calling this string because it's going to be like in quotation. Image path means where is your picture? What's the name of the picture that's going to go on your panel, which is going to be on the frame. So for now, I think I'll stop here for today because I need to wrap up. But you notice what happens. You see what the AI is giving me as a suggestion? This is where we will put that home, and you have to write it exactly how you wrote it, like how it's written here on the control panel. How we wrote it here, home1.jpg. Don't make a mistake. It has to be the same. And so your path is going to be that, and you put like a semicolon. That's it. So that's one part. That's not it, of course. We have to create an object of the image icon and put that onto your panel and then show it, which I think is something we will have to do next class. So for now, let's go back to the Replit. This is where we'll stop for today, guys. We stopped at the part where we're kind of organizing. I'm just going to take this backspace because I like things to be organized like this. Indentation, right? This is what we call indentation. Keep everything in. This is what we have done so far. We've generated our home page, which is what you guys need to work on doing. Go and get the best one you can get for your home screen. And then you have to be satisfied with one. I'm putting 2 here, but I can't use 2. I'm going to have to use 1. The only reason I put 2 is because I want to see how it's going to look like. And then I decide what's that going to be like. And you want to keep the consistency going, and we'll show you how that works. Okay, guys, let's go for the last part and see. The agent says it's done. It's still inspecting. Okay, it's not done. Still working. You got to give it the time to work, like I told you. You shouldn't stop it. Just leave it until it's done. Check your VNC. Oh, look at that. You guys are lucky. It's setting up. It worked. Finally, right? So, like I told you, just keep prompting it, saying, I don't see it, I don't see it, I don't see it, until you do. And it's not going to change anything for you in your code. It's just going to run what you already have. That's it. Okay, guys, I've kept you 5 minutes extra time. Let's go back to things for today. So the prompt that I used to generate the image will be in your notes that I shared with you guys, okay? But that will be only accessible to people who are here. It shows me there are 20 people here. So originally we had 30 people that were supposed to be here, or 30, I think 30. So 20, meaning that you have to maintain your attendance. If anyone is not here today, you are not going to continue next class. Will be removed. So I think we've emphasized the importance of attendance. So if anybody you know is supposed to be here isn't here, well, you can explain to them what's going to happen. Now, the notes you guys are going to get, I'm tempted to give you guys the notes to like see, but I don't want to give you all, like give you the whole spoiler. I think we should go generally to like basically. So maybe I just give you the first page of understanding like what are we trying to set up here. And then the other parts will come maybe when we start working. Yeah, so that you don't get overwhelmed, right? So the other parts will come as we're doing it, you're understanding, then you go through the notes. I think that's pretty much it, guys. Please make sure you do your assignment. It's going to be released on Wednesday or Thursday, but the video recording for sure, late Wednesday, you will have the recording. Just start setting up your Replit. Start making sure that you've gotten your background home screen. Make sure you have the codes up until where we are. And yeah, and I think you're good to go. So guys, any questions? Yes, the note is empty because I'm going to put notes later on. So that's why it's empty right now. I am going to put the notes, and someone was lost. Joanne, I hope you're not still lost. Sorry I didn't come back because I don't come back during the class till the end. Are you still lost in any way?
No, I'm not lost. I'm okay.
Okay, well, don't, guys, if you're feeling lost, it's okay. When I give you guys the quiz, there's a part that says, do you have any questions? Put your question there, and then we'll try to respond to whatever questions you have, okay? So if you're lost, I'm saying. Okay, if any questions, let me just go through the chat. I don't think there's anything I see. I think I've talked about the notes. Someone said you weren't seeing the presentation. I hope my screen was sharing throughout the whole time. Was it sharing? Okay. All right, if it isn't, please let me know next time and I'll stop it. If anybody is not seeing, I'll stop it and reshare it again. All right, guys, it was nice to see everyone. Feel free to ask me questions in the quiz where you guys will get the quiz. Someone, I don't know if someone's asking a question right now, but is someone asking me a question? No. Okay. Oh, someone is. Ilham, go ahead. Go ahead, I'm listening.
All right, thank you so much. So I just want to ask, the document you're going to share with us, is it basically whatever we've done today, kind of like all the installations and the setup that you need to do? Because I did not get it at all.
Okay, so that's a good question. If you didn't really get anything, The video class recording, I think, will help you make it easier, because then you can pause and stop. And then perhaps what I'll do is maybe do like a little PDF, if I can, like a note to explain to you how to set it up on Replit. But if you're still having problem and you're like, I can't get this thing to work to show my file, then tell me, then I'll give you guys the link to what's already set up, like a file that's already there. And all you have to do is remix it, make a copy of it. So I will explain it in the PDF, but if you're lost, I'll just give you a link, and then just keep that link until next class. When you come next class, I'll tell you, okay, you now have this link. This is how you can make a file for yourself. That is, if you still watch the class recording and you don't understand and you've tried it, it doesn't work. Just keep it the way it is until you come to the next class, and then we can address that before we, continue the lesson.
All right, thank you.
Sure, no problem. Anybody else with questions? No? Okay, well, if you have, feel free to ask me during the quiz when I send it over. I think they will send it the admin, and then, there's a section there. Ask if you have a question. We'll try to get back to everyone as much as we can. Don't forget to complete attendance, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody. Have a good night or a good evening. The deadline for what exactly? No, there is no deadline because you guys don't have a quiz yet. And you don't have a video. Yes, that's a good question, but there's no deadline. Until you have the quiz, then you guys will know the deadline. It's usually a day after or 2 days after, so you have ample time. Okay, take care, everybody. Have a good night. I'm going to stop the recording. Feel free to leave if you want to. Elham, you can stay and ask a question. Go ahead.